There has been a lot of discord surrounding the U.S. attack on Venezuelan soil. And as the headlines gear up for the week, you're going to hear even more of this. Now, currently, people are saying, oh, well, it's the oil that they're going after, or he's distracting from the Epstein files, and he's underwater on the poles, and all of these different things. But as I journeyed down the rabbit hole to understand what this is really about, what I did find was quite disturbing, and we need to brace for impact. In order to understand this attack, you need to understand international law. Now, under modern international law, there are only three justifications for actually using military force against another country. Those three justifications are self-defense after an attack, United Nations authorization, and a clear and imminent threat. Now, the thing that rings the alarm bells is that international law works on precedent. And when a powerful country like the United States of America breaks that precedent, it destabilizes the international law that's been put in place. It becomes harder and harder to enforce that law across all countries and all nations. Now, when Nancy Pelosi pointed at Donald John and said, all roads lead to Putin with you, this type of action was exactly what she was talking about, because Putin has wanted the UN to weaken its regulations against international law for years. And this is a perfect scenario that allows him to keep occupying, keep destroying the country of Ukraine. This in and of itself shifts the world from rules to power, which is what this administration has been about from day one. Every time any country, including the US, stretches the justification, it also stretches across other countries, making it harder for the UN to keep the protections that they have in place from other countries just going into countries and basically saying, well, there's an imminent threat, so we need to be here to occupy it and neutralize it before it becomes more of a threat. Now, in terms of the oil reserve that Venezuela has, yes, it's definitely cheaper to purchase up front, but it is more expensive and difficult to refine on the back end. So who do you think is going to absorb that cost in the event that we actually start to utilize those Venezuelan oil reserves? It's definitely not going to be Chevron, Exxon, or any of the other oil refineries. The point is, this isn't about oil. The oil that is in Venezuela is expensive and difficult to refine. This isn't about drugs pouring into our country, because if it was about drugs pouring into our country, then Donald John, you wouldn't have pardoned that Honduras leader, the one that was already tried by the United States, found guilty, and basically sentenced to 30, 40 years. You wouldn't have pardoned that guy if you cared about drugs. Now, the real question is going to be, what is the U.S. going to do when another country decides to come knocking at our shore because they feel like